Pasadena, CA, January 1, Dwayne Haskins. Photo by Harry Howe, Getty Images. The San Francisco 49ers are fortunate to have a franchise quarterback, Jimmy Garoppolo, under contract. Especially considering there are far more QB-needy teams than pro-ready prospects in this year's NFL Draft. Maybe the Niners take advantage of that situation between now and Week 1, possibly dishing off one of their backups, CJ Beathard or Nick Mullins, to a team failing to cash in on a signal caller between now and September. Even if that doesn't happen, the 49ers are still likely to be influenced by this year's quarterback class. And, more specifically, what happens with Ohio State's Dwayne Haskins, widely viewed as the No. 1 quarterbacking prospect in this year's draft class. San Francisco currently owns the number 2 overall pick in April's draft. Later in round 1, teams like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, No. 5, New York Giants, No. 6, Jacksonville Jaguars, No. 7, Denver Broncos, number 10, and Miami Dolphins, number 13, could all be in on a possible trade-up. This bidding war could end up involving the Niners' top pick in the draft, particularly if general manager John Lynch has offered a package he simply can't refuse. Haskins' value is only going to increase between now and the NFL Draft, and a strong NFL scouting combine would only reinforce the already existing notion quarterback values always rise despite there being no in-game activities between January and April. For now, however, what are the strengths and weaknesses behind Haskins' game that could ultimately influence his draft stock? Let's take a look. Next, Dwayne Haskins' strengths. Page 2 EAST Lansing, Michigan, in November 10, Dwayne Haskins. Photo by Gregory Seamus, Getty Images. The lack of top-tier quarterbacks in this year's NFL Draft only plays to Dwayne Haskins' benefit. Even if this class was loaded, there would be a good chance his name would be the first called at his position. Why? Well, he's perfectly competent making those intermediate area throws, the kind of tosses where big-name quarterbacks make their money. And he's not just accurate between the numbers, either, as Bleacher Report's Matt Miller pointed out from Haskins' Rose Bowl game versus Washington. Ohio State's Dwayne Haskins took advantage of this truth in a dynamic performance against Washington, which boasts a very talented secondary, in the Buckeyes' Rose Bowl win. Haskins completed 25 of 37 passes for 3 touchdowns and showed the kind of pocket poise, accuracy outside the hashes and arm talent all over the field to secure his status as the top quarterback in the 2019 draft class should he decide to enter. Haskins also seems to have shed the stereotype of Urban Meyer quarterbacks, ones who often use their rushing abilities to supplement their arms, as ESPN's Adam Rittenberg pointed out. And in doing so, Haskins set numerous pass records at Ohio State. Those will be of note heading towards draft day. As far as his intangibles go, however, Haskins is excellent at going through his progressions and anticipating his receivers getting open, elements many first-year quarterbacks struggle with upon entry to NFL ranks. It doesn't appear as if those will be issues for Haskins much at all. While accuracy down the field isn't his best strength, it's good to know he has the zip to get passes well beyond 20 yards. Plus, his 6'3" and 220-pound frame looks the part, which helps set him above the shorter quarterback, Oklahoma's Kyler Murray, who is viewed as the No. 2 prospect at this position. Next, Dwayne Haskins' weaknesses. Page 3 WEST Lafayette, Indiana, October 20, Dwayne Haskins. Photo by Michael Hickey, Getty Images. As noted before, Dwayne Haskins isn't quite as accomplished delivering touch passes well down the field. When he's working between the line of scrimmage and 20 yards out, Haskins is almost always on target. Beyond that, however, his targeting skills get a bit dicey. Part of the reason could be Haskins' abilities within the pocket. When the quarterback struggles, it's generally when facing pressure. As longer routes develop, pressure getting home has made Haskins look flustered quite often. Granted, few quarterbacks enjoy pressure, although it seems Haskins is a bit behind some of the other top-name quarterbacks in this regard. Additionally, Haskins appears to feel pressure that's not quite there, especially early in 2018. Haskins' footwork is also a work in progress. This part of his game can look forced and choppy, instead of the fluid and graceful motion seen with some other quarterbacks. Perhaps this is another piece to his pocket poise puzzle, yet it's likely an attribute that can be coached up with time. And while we've praised his progressions, many of these were limited to just one side of the field. That aspect will need to improve at the pro level. On top of everything, there are going to be scouts concerned with the fact Haskins was just a one-year collegiate starter, which goes against Hall of Fame head coach Bill Parcells' idea of drafting a quarterback early. Still, Haskins' demonstrated abilities are far too good to let that notion become a problem. So, how does all of this affect the 49ers? Next, how Dwayne Haskins can affect the 49ers' draft plans? Page 4. The San Francisco 49ers NFL Draft, photo by Tom Pennington, Getty Images. Niner Noise pointed out a while ago how 10 out of the last 11 first-round quarterbacks selected have been acquired via trade. Moral of that story? If you're a team in need of a top-ranked signal caller, you better offer up a trade package. That's where the 49ers benefit, particularly if they're not totally impressed with their options at no. 2 overall or are offered such a lucrative package, they can't ignore it. One could argue the Giants are first up on the draft order board, in terms of needing a QB. The Oakland Raiders let quarterback Derek Carr's 2019 guaranteed money go into effect, so they're sticking with him this season. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers also picked up the 5th-year option for their quarterback Jameis Winston, which all but assures he'll be there this season, too. New York, meanwhile, opted not to find an heir apparent for veteran signal caller Eli Manning last year. The G-men probably won't make the same move twice, and general manager Dave Gettleman appears to have a preference towards bigger-bodied players than shorter ones. So, perhaps the Giants are crossing off Kyler Murray from their wish list. Meanwhile, the number 7 overall drafting Jaguars have shown some interest in Haskins, too. It's anyone's guess how serious those reports are, but it's pretty clear they want a bona fide impact player after repeatedly committing to their bust QB, Blake Bortles, for far too long. The Jaguars could leapfrog the Giants, who might be inclined to simply move up out of reach of a would-be Jags trade-up. Likewise, the Dolphins and Broncos' long-term quarterbacking needs are also in the mix. All this means is there could easily be a massive bidding war for a top 3 pick, one which the 49ers own and could cash in on. Next, 5 prospects 49ers can cross off their round 1 draft big board. The 2019 NFL Draft kicks off on April 25 from Nashville, Tennessee.